आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ।
Hello, listeners. You're listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast program on STEM popularization, catalyzed and supported by the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India, through its National Council for Science and Technology Communication and Media for Community Foundation. Project devised and designed by Dr. R. Sridhar and assisted by Ashish Tiwari. Local coordination and production, Professor Subramanian. Content writing by Professor Mansa Gowda and post-production by Professor Kaushik P. Kanchan of Garden City University, Bengaluru.
Garden City University, conquer we shall all adversity. GCU, emphasis on life. GCU, emphasis on life.
In this episode, we have Professor Umesh V. Wagmare, an engineer with a PhD in applied physics, works at JNCASR, studying material properties like semiconductors using quantum mechanics and statistical physics.
So my training was in engineering, and later my PhD research was in applied physics of materials. And the work I do today is really interdisciplinary work, which focuses on different properties of materials, which range from semiconductors, superconductors to ferroelectrics and magnetism. And the theme of my research work is to use fundamental ideas in physics like quantum mechanics and statistical physics and use them to simulate a material and predict its behavior at different scales under different environments and understand experimental observations.
Dr. Umesh Wagmare then gave us a better understanding into his research with real-life example and how it is applicable to his research.
So let me take an example of a jet engine. Jet engine is an engine based on which our aeroplanes fly long distances. So one very important material in a jet engine is a superalloy. This is called nickel-based superalloy. And if you didn't have this alloy, the flight could not go from London to New York or London to Bombay. And the reason for it is these jet engines use blades, turbine blades, which have to be operated at 1400 degrees centigrade for high efficiency. Only if the efficiency of engine is high, it can go a long distance trip, right? So this blade, turbine blade of a jet engine is made up of nickel aluminum superalloys, which remain strong even 80% of its melting temperature. It doesn't become weak or bend or melt, and that's why they are very important. Now, to develop these alloys, there has been efforts of last 5 decades. It's a technology of materials which has been evolving for last 5 decades, and at this stage, any further development means you have to do atomic engineering of this alloy. To do that, you need to understand how different atoms interact with each other, talk to each other, bond with each other. And that bonding is determined by the electrons which are shared between atoms or donated from one atom to another. And electrons, being very light particles, they don't follow the classical laws of motion, Newton's laws of motion. They behave like a wave as well as a particle. So to understand how two atoms interact, one has to use electrons and their wave nature, and for that we use quantum physics to do the simulation of electronic motion, which mediate the interaction between atoms.
Dr. Wagmare then talked about how interdisciplinary research and being open to ideas from different fields is crucial in finding solutions to the problems arising in current times.
No, I wouldn't say all academicians must do interdisciplinary research, but today if you take problems of societal importance or impact, for example, climate change or energy transition, you want to go from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources, these challenges require scientific efforts which combine methods from physics, methods from chemistry, and of course engineering. So that's where I feel if someone wants to solve these challenges, one has no option but to do interdisciplinary research, and for that, being open to ideas from different fields and using them is very important.
Dr. Wagmare then gave us insight into how his research is going to help the country in the short term and long term use.
In 2017, I was a co-founder of a company called Breathe Applied Sciences Private Limited. This was a company I founded along with Professor Sebastian Peter, another colleague of mine. And this company focus was to develop a technology which will reduce carbon dioxide to methanol. So reduction of carbon dioxide means you are reducing greenhouse gases, and that helps in sort of slowing down the climate change, right? Global warming it reduces. And at the same time, you generate methanol, which is a fuel. Methanol can be used in place of petrol in our cars on a regular basis with very minor changes to the pipes that carry this fuel because of the chemical nature of the fuel. So this technology will really make a big difference in the sense it achieves the carbon recycling, and if it is achieved, I think we will have independent technology from within India. But this is work in progress. Okay, so in the long term, if this company succeeds, sure, it will benefit society. The second very important impact is, we train researchers, and in my group particularly, they are trained to think in an interdisciplinary manner. Students in my group come from physics, chemistry, and engineering backgrounds, and they solve problems which are really different domain. So this training I feel is very important, and it will help a lot in the new emerging technologies that are coming up.
He then showcased his concerns on how he thinks that India is far behind other countries in areas of research and development due to the lack of collective thinking and manpower.
In fact, not only in my domain, but my generic view is we are far behind, and the reason for it is in any area of research we are below critical mass. Right? We don't have enough people who are working on a given set of problems in a given domain. And because of that, what happens is we don't have enough collective thinking, and of course working together is even less because the same small set of people is available all the time. So if the funding for research goes up and we cross a critical mass, I think we will be fairly well off. So my feeling is in most areas, including mine, we are far behind both, say, China and United States.
You were listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz, a podcast on STEM popularization, catalyzed and supported by National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. Tune in for more such episodes to Vigyan Ki Awaaz on this platform and also through Spotify, YouTube and Apple Music platforms.
आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही